Hello, my name is Bart Brecka. This is the second installment of the ACCO Swingline stapler using an external copy geometry and created with a mixture of solids and surfaces that Beyond Design developed in the late 90s. So Design Engine is a training organization that teaches a wide variety of software packages, and we do so very differently than the sort of book-read training that you might find nowadays. Our training is very geared at workflow and not so much the menu clicks. So I've created a stapler in a previous video, and the stapler has a basic set of geometry and then what I call delineation geometry that will segregate the upper housing from the lower housing, and I'm trying to do so in such a way that makes it easy to modify the geometry. Okay, so my naming convention is stapler 00. I'm going to create a file, the upper housing, and I'm going to call it stapler 01. I'm going to go ahead and put an underscore upper for the upper die-cast portion of the part, and I'm just simply leaving it set as default. Okay, in this part, I'll resize it so the window can see it. In this part, basically there's nothing in there. So what I need to do is my first feature is to go to Shared Data, Copy Geometry. Now there's a number of top-down design methodologies. This is what Design Engine would consider the bare essence of external copy geometry. I'm not actually using a published geometry or a skeleton model, a skeleton part, if you will. I'm just going to turn off the publish. A lot of customers will have that turned off in a config setting. I'm going to come down in here now and grab the 00 model out of memory and just move that up so you can see it. I'm just going to hit open, and then I've got this placement window, and typically here's where I hit middle button. A lot of people, the SolidWorks menu click counters will try to say that, you know, SolidWorks might be better because it's less menu clicks. They're mistaken. I don't even have to click OK. I just hit the middle button, and I'm going to click here into surface geometry. Wildfire 5 brings up a separate window now instead of a separate model, and I can left click on here. Instead of left clicking on all the solid surfaces, I'm just going to left click, right hold down, and hit solid surfaces. Hit the middle button, and there I've created the sort of the main portion of the stapler itself. Don't forget to solidify it. So I'm going to go to Edit, Solidify here, middle click, and now I'm going to go ahead and do my external copy geometry once again. Copy geometry, turn off the publish, grab the 00 model, middle click. I'm going to grab the surface geometry now, but this time I'm going to right click here to go query through to the entire quilt. Okay, now I can create a cut with that surface. Solidify in a cut direction. I'm going to click on the arrow here, and now I've created the upper housing. So what I'm going to do now is go into insert mode before that surface cut, the solidify, becomes evident, and then I'm going to basically shell out the geometry at this level. So I'll shell it out and then resume the solidify feature. Later on we'll put ribs in that geometry, ribs inside of there, but we're going to do that in a very, very different kind of way, probably in the third video. So let's do the second part. I'm going to call that stapler 02 underscore lower. I'll resize this window to fit. Do basically the same thing. Share data, copy geometry, turn off the publish, grab the 00 model, grab the surface, left click, right hold down, solid surfaces, middle click, solidify that geometry. Let's let's not solidify it just to make a small mistake, and see if we can learn how to catch the mistake. So I've not solidified it on purpose. Insert, share data, copy geometry. Let's turn off the publish and grab the 00 model again. Okay, I'm going to grab the lower geometry, right click through to get the entire quilt, left click on that. Now I do that because if you, I'm trying to make this geometry so robust that somebody might come in and take that, see how it's built in 3 separate panels? That's a straight line and 2 arcs on either end extruded from that. Somebody might turn that into 4 or 2 geometries, and I don't want this feature to fail because of that. Now notice I forgot to make my solid, so I'm going to go ahead and use this surface as a tool to cut with. Solidify is grayed out, indicating that I've probably forgot to solidify this part. Since it's a closed surface, it will let me solidify that. Then I come over here to use this as a tool to cut with, solidify in a cut direction. We'll flip the arrow that way to get the lower housing. Now we'll probably want to go ahead and shell this geometry. I'll shell this geometry, and then now I still need to cut the rubber portion of this off. So I'm going to go ahead and insert, share data, and copy geometry again. Turn off the publish. Go grab the 00 model, and I'm going to grab that lower geometry and use that now as a cutting tool to cut away the lower geometry. Okay, so there's my lower housing, and now I need to what I'm going to do is what I probably should do is just show you that a workflow, you could save this file. Let's see, I'm going to save this file. Open, I'm going to save as a copy now. Lower, I'm going to call it 03 rubber. Let's open the 03 rubber file and just reverse the cut on here. And top-down design has really enabled me to estimate quotes at we certainly need to delete the shell out of here. So there's the rubber portion. Top-down design has enabled me to quote on a project in hours, where the manager will say, well, why did the other quotes come in weeks and months when your quote came in at 80 hours? And I'll say, well, I have a very specific way to estimate those hours. I add up, I'll sketch it out on a sheet of paper, understand what it takes to build the geometry, add up those numbers. Using top-down design, it's probably going to take me about 9 hours to build one portion of the project. And so I have a workflow that, a process that enables me to estimate the hours, and I'm quite precise. I don't have to give my estimate in weeks or months. It's usually in hours. Okay. So the next thing I need to do is build the assembly. And I just want to show how each part now, since each part references a coordinate system, I can bring in each part into the assembly referencing the same coordinate system. So I'm going to go ahead and put the upper housing in, right hold down, default constraint. I like to do that instead of coming up here and grabbing a specific coordinate system or whatever. Let's see, let's go to lower, right hold down, default constraint, middle click to accept. Let's open up the rubber portion, right hold down, default constraint. Might want to color the rubber portion in a different color, but there's the geometry. Okay, in the third video installment, I'm going to make some changes to this model and add some ribs to it. Alright, so thank you very much for watching my video. Consider coming to Design Engine in the future.